Hey guys, welcome to Comic Book Weekly. I know I didn't do the 3 seconds we usually wait, or do the thumbnail, but I'm sorry. We're a 3-man crew this week, so
yeah,
we're trying.
We didn't do a thumbnail. There it is.
We did a thumbnail. Oh, there we go. Now it's overlapped.
Yeah.
We did the thumbnail. We just didn't show it or plan to show it.
No, we're just not in the groove yet. This is the first one
I'm
of
in
the
bed.
year.
Yeah, Brant's in bed. I think everyone sounds like they have a cold, so it's been a fun day.
It's Kat's new headphones. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why everyone sounds different to her.
And now I can walk away. You don't have to see my fridge anymore because I don't have the wires. So it's so cool. I've been enjoying it a lot. But you have to charge it in this thing that looks like a lighter.
Yeah.
But they're cool. I like them. So that was my Christmas. I got AirPods.
Nice.
Yeah, I got this microphone that you can see on here. Right?
There you go.
And then I got a new Chromebook.
Nice.
I when I did my haul video for Christmas, I still have the movies here, so you can see that I haven't watched them yet. But I got Teen Titans Go versus the Teen Titans.
You'll never watch it.
I will one day. Shazam! I got to watch that. I still haven't watched that. I got Aquaman, so I got that, and then I got Bumblebee, which I still haven't seen that either. And then the only movie I did see was Into the Spider-Verse, so I wound up getting that too.
I saw that twice. I saw that during Christmas. I begged my brother to see it because he hadn't seen it, or any of my family members. I'm like, gotta watch this movie, and they liked it. We saw Die Hard for the first time, and I hated it.
For the first time, of course you did.
I hated it.
Of course you hated it.
I hated the movie, but
because
we all
it's
did.
old. It's old. That's why.
I just didn't like that.
It's
just
a
got
Christmas
plot
movie.
holes, man. Oh yeah, it's definitely a Christmas movie for sure. But yeah, and also to answer Tevia's question, yeah, sadly, Chris and Michael couldn't make it. So, but they will hopefully be back soon. But yeah, sorry that they couldn't make it.
You can check their Facebook pages for updates why they're not here.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, and we have a new person, Comic Book Lucan, who says,
Lurking. He's lurking.
Oh, okay. This is Perry. Thank you for lurking.
Oh, Perry's Comics.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
That's cool.
I think he's doing his live show. So might be on his live show right now. We're giving you a shout out if you're giving us a shout out.
You're giving everyone a shout out.
Yeah, we'll have to watch your show. Let us know what timestamp you're at, and we'll watch it and plug it. But yeah, we'll get into the show and get started. We don't have a lot to talk about comic wise because not a lot came out, but we're going to talk about the things we missed because obviously we didn't do a New Year's show, we didn't do a Christmas show because that would be crazy. So we're just going to talk about those comics here. But first, we're going to start with some news. And we're going to do, I think, some comic news first. So first up is Transformers vs. Terminator event. Speaking of old movies. What?
Hey, Z Collects is here with the lurkers as well, by the way.
Oh, cool. Welcome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So
Terminator.
Transformers and Terminator. What do you... I don't know. Like, I don't know what to expect. I think it's cool because it's like, obviously it's, it's 80s properties, but at the same time, I'm like, Transformers can kill Terminators, like no problem whatsoever. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even a contest. They could just step on them and destroy them. So it will be cool, I guess, to see what this concept will be. But I guess for nostalgic purposes, I'll pick it up. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah,
that's not picking it up. I know.
No, of course not.
I'm good.
It's two of your favorite things, Kat. I mean, come on. Terminator and Transformers?
I don't hate Terminator as much as I do Transformers.
Well, of course not.
There's girls in Terminator. There's real people.
There's girls in Transformers.
We had that whole conversation.
Yeah, we did.
I ignored you.
There's like several female Transformers.
They're all robots.
They don't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did have that conversation, and we said there's no gender for robots, and we did have that whole conversation. Oh god.
When was it? Windblade is the newest one. Like anyway.
Yeah, she's the newest female. Yep.
Yeah.
What does she do? Is she like a fighter jet and a transformer?
She's like, it's like kind of a motorcycle helicopter kind of thing, isn't it? Isn't what she is? Or I don't remember. Maybe I'm.
That's a lot.
Hey, comics with Bueller's on this show. He's a very good YouTuber.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Friends with Comic Tom 101 and everything. So thanks for watching the show, bud. I appreciate it.
And I should explain why I'm in bed. I'm on location. I'm out of town for the past week or so. And,
he's a spy. He didn't want to let us know, but this is the week he's telling us he's part of the FBI.
Yeah, it's like this is the room I had available to record in, so this is where I'm at.
We're doing great. Just saying.
I know, just awesome.
New Year, we're really doing great.
You guys thought we were all ready to go and be all prepared and professional. We're everything but professional.
All robots are non-binary. That's great.
They are.
I know. I mean, literally and figuratively, probably.
I'm glad there's some representation. I just never expected it to be in Transformers.
Anyway, Terminator versus Transformers. That's what we're talking about. Nostalgic purposes, I will probably at least try it out and see what it's like. Usually those things they don't sing to me. Those kind of crossovers and stuff. But we'll see.
Now they're singing.
Yeah.
They're singing robots.
I'm snorting now.
The 6 shifts 1 are male. That's what DNGN 74 says. Thanks for pointing that out.
We're making some continuity here, right here on Comic Book Weekly. We'll get into a bit more serious of a conversation, but not too serious. Hickman, always bringing the serious stories, has a new creator-owned title coming out for Image. I don't know what it's about. I think it's about some sort of assassins. Let me see if I can read the thing. That way you don't just hear it's a Hickman book and actually know what it's about. There are many assassins in the known universe. This is the story of the most well-mannered ones. Manners are a sensitive awareness of the feelings of others. If you have that awareness, you have good manners, no matter what knife you use. Yo, that sounds awesome. I'm going to get that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, and you got to think like Hickman here, like he's obviously capitalizing on the whole, X-Men thing. People obviously know at this point who he is, even if they didn't beforehand. Now they do, and so it's probably like, hey, perfect time to create my own title so everyone else can check it out. I'll check it out. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I don't think I've read a whole lot of his indie stuff, to be honest.
I've always dropped them.
Yeah.
What was his most recent thing? It was East and West.
Right?
East to West, yeah. Which I never tried that one.
It was good, and then I fell off of it.
Okay.
Mike Manhattan said, "Glad we're having fun before most of us get drafted for World War III." I saw amazing.
It's coming.
It's coming. I saw amazing memes of World War III of the people from Mean Girls where they're like, "Get in. We're getting drafted," and they're in the car and they have their little hats. But the best one was Sex in the City, where it's Carrie on her computer saying, "Yes, I know World War III is coming, but what about World War Me?" I can't get that out of my head.
Wow.
We do have DNGN who made a comment about Hickman new book. So basically Kingsman with less morals. I was thinking the same thing because I was like, this is very British.
That would have to be pretty bad to have even less morals than Kingsman, because that's a pretty brutal story there.
Especially if you've seen the movies, like
there's I've only seen the first one, but I never saw the second one.
The second one is good. It's actually because Taron plays Elton John in Rocket Man. Elton John makes an appearance in the second Kingsman, so it's kind of cool how that crossed over.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that kind of fell off because Lisa and I watched the first one and she was so grossed out she didn't want to see the second one, so it just kind of kept pushing back and back. So eventually I'll get to it.
There's like a prequel coming out with Matthew McConaughey, which I probably will go see.
I was watching, slight sidetrack, we were watching Graham Norton last night, I think it was, or the night before, and Matthew McConaughey was on there with with Michael Bublé and Jennifer Hudson and different people. And Bublé was talking about how he goes to sleep to Matthew McConaughey's voice all the time because he's apparently done this he's done this recording to help people sleep and is like reading this novel or something, and he's just like slow and smooth and talking. They played a little bit of it, and everybody was just like falling asleep to it. It was comforting.
That's hysterical.
I know it is.
Oh my
It's
God.
hilarious.
We saw a lot of movies. Mike just bought movies. He hasn't seen them yet, but we saw a lot of movies during the break.
I haven't seen shit. I saw Star Wars though.
We can talk about Star Wars maybe. Maybe if we have enough time, we'll talk some Star Wars. I saw Star Wars. I just saw Farewell last night. I've been trying to see a lot of them, a lot of the Oscar movies. I'm gonna see Uncut Gems on Sunday. But anyways, let's get back to comics. Avengers and Fantastic Four versus Kree and Skrulls for Empyre event, which I think we're going to talk more about the Empyre event as a whole when we talk about incoming, because yes, we'll talk about that book, the $10 we spent on it. We will talk about it. So, I mean, it's the reason I marked it down. I just think it's cool that the Fantastic Four is an event again because they're actually relevant. So,
yeah.
I think it can be cool. I didn't watch the trailer. I forgot to watch the trailer for it. I'm like Brant. So, but I
watched the trailer this week, and we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're not talking. Oh, I guess we should give him a little mention before we get into this. Yeah, New Mutants. We're not talking about it, but we're making a video about it. So that's why we're not discussing it. Don't worry. Well, all the Ileana talk will be in there. You don't want to miss it.
The incoming event, it's like I'm kind of like undecisive about it. I just don't know, like, because just that one shot was just so like
bad.
It was about a tree coming out of a scroll. Like, what is all that? You know? And I'm like, and I paid $10 for that just to watch just to read just a glorified preview, just basically what Marvel has out for everybody, you know? So it didn't really do all that much for me. It was kind of like, yeah, it gets you excited for the event, and we're gonna have this big murder mystery, and it's like complete bore fest when you read that whole thing.
Yeah, they were bouncing around trying to conclude possible story that they could, and kind of doing a recap and a preview all in one. It was weird the way that story was structured, and I at first I was really enjoying it, and I guess we'll just kind of sidetrack.
Yeah, we'll just talk about it in comments.
Yeah. At first I was enjoying it because I love murder mysteries, and you pick up that thread from Marvel Comics 1000 with the Masked Raider, and it's like, okay, this is gonna be really cool. Yeah, exactly. And you get into it, and you're like, okay, they're showing different art teams and different characters, picking up all those threads from these stories that we've read and kind of teasing things. And it's like, okay. And then you keep reading, and it's like, okay, well, the Masked Raider is completely gone. They're going to every single person in the Marvel universe to try to figure this out. And then it becomes a tree, like you said, Mike. And that's like basically the whole story.
Yeah, the overall story was not fun. I would say the only two things I enjoyed was Jessica Jones I liked. Yeah. And like going down to Captain Marvel's lair, I thought was cool. And then the Fantastic Four stuff was awesome. I love that, but that's too tough.
Herbie was hilarious. Yeah.
That was the best part, man. That was like, oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Person up the storm.
Yeah, there were elements of it that were good that I enjoyed, but the overall, and when you think about the whole thing, it's like, what the heck did I just read?
Like the first page actually grabbed me because I was like, oh, the Masked Raider's in this. I'm like, okay. And then like the mystery aspect of it was kind of cool in the beginning. And then once it got away from it, and once you realized it was just, oh, I'm going to talk to this person, and then we're going to go to this person, and then we're going to go to that person, and then we're going to do nothing about the murder mystery at all until the end of the book. That's when I was like, wow, this is disappointing.
It was like if you took like every single NCIS and Law and Order and just like went to every single show for a minute to just introduce those characters and say, hey, let's get your take on this. Hey, let's get your take on this. Just to tie everything together and say, hey, we're all in one universe.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, it was frustrating as hell. So, all right, no more of that.
Okay.
I do want to just mention Slime's comment. Well, first, Brevin asks, so can we include last week's comics for our top 5? This week, yeah, just because there's not a lot. Go for it. And then also, Slime says, he hasn't picked up an event in a long time. And he said, if you don't like an event, why read it? The answer is it was issue 1, so you can't know if you're not gonna like an event until you at least try it out.
Yeah. As going back to what was we were talking about Empyre, the upcoming event that was story. Yeah. Going to that, nothing's really exciting me about this yet. It's like, okay, Teddy from Young Avengers. That's the interesting part. His role in this. Beyond that, I don't care. So
I agree with you. Again, give the first issue a try. If I don't see anything I like about it, I'll pick up the rest.
You know what though? What I'm afraid of is this going to be a Marvel like event, like
I think it will
all
be.
the books. That's what I'm afraid of.
I mean, with the Kree and the Skrull and this setup, it has to, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but we talked about incoming, so there you go. But speaking of murder mysteries, Valiant also has a murder mystery. We don't really know what it's about, but just that they're gonna have a murder mystery. And honestly, the only reason I marked this down is just like, what's everyone's obsession with murder mysteries? Because like every company has done it now.
It's the latest trend, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're bad because I love murder mysteries and go see Knives Out, like I said in the comments, because it's an amazing movie. But I don't understand why comics are making it their big event.
It's the in thing right now. But the thing that intrigues me is the way that it was described. It sounds like their version of a Leviathan. So I want to see if they do it better.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. Next, we're going to talk about Sean Murphy working on a Catwoman title with Blake Northcott, who's going to be working for DC, who's done stuff like Millar World and stuff. So that's cool.
I am impressed by that. I really am. That's good for her, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And but when it comes to Sean Murphy doing Black Cat, and I saw that piece, I was like, wow, I think this is going to be really good. I'm excited for this.
Tevye makes an interesting comment. He says, nobody cares about murder mysteries in comics. And I just want to mention Watchmen, ?
That is true. That's what that entire story was.
Yeah, it's a great story. And maybe that's also the appeal because Watchmen, the show, did so well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
It's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I think murder mysteries, if it's done right, it can be a very good comic, you know?
Well, I mean, what is the one where the Watcher was murdered that we all liked?
Except me.
Original Sin.
Original Sin, yeah.
Yeah, that was really well done, too.
Yeah.
Except for Cat's Eyes.
Yeah,
she hates the artwork in it. So.
Yeah, the art is what brought me down.
Yeah.
The story was fine. Just the art that kind of...
Right.
DNGN says Detective Comics has a ton of murder mysteries, and that is true.
It's called Detective Comics.
Yeah.
That's like half of what Batman does.
Yeah.
So, I think Kustavi's point is that he didn't like Heroes of Crisis and Leviathan. Sure, but those are two bad murder mysteries compared to, like, I honestly love Identity Crisis. I think it's a great story. I know not everyone likes it, but that's a great one. There's a lot of good murder mysteries. Just like any other genre. Some people are going to do it bad. Some people are going to do it good. In your eyes, you know, and some people might love it not in your eyes. Okay, so let's go to our media section here. So we got He-Man gets another cartoon with the anime. So we have the Kevin Smith anime, we have the She-Ra cartoon, and now another He-Man cartoon. It's a lot.
Yeah. And this other one, it's like continuing from the original cartoon, right?
That's
really
weird. Like how can you actually do that?
I don't know. So I'm really intrigued by this.
It's like, hey, all you 40-somethings out there, this is what happened in the last episode of He-Man.
And then you got the movies too that's coming out, like a remake movie. So what?
He-Mania is what it is. That's what I was going for. He-Mania. Because She-Ra was so popular, they're like, hey, let's see if the other side of this coin will do anything for us.
DNGN says, boo, Identity Crisis, not enough tree people. That's true. That is very true.
That's true.
Serenity says, we're not 40, we're 30. Speak for all yourselves.
But for like I said, for the 40-something-year-olds, that's when that show was on air.
Yeah. Exactly.
Tevye asks, can She-Ra and He-Man cross over? To my knowledge, they can't right now, unless like some embargoes change. I don't think they can. Unless maybe the He-Man show does well and DreamWorks, because I believe DreamWorks owns She-Ra and then whoever else owns He-Man. So I think that's
I'm not sure who owns He-Man at this point.
Me either. I'm not a big enough fan to let you know on that one. But
I want to say Mattel or some. I don't know.
Probably. I would guess it's Mattel. I'm sure someone in the comments know. All right, let's go to the next thing, which is that Valiant signs a deal for video games. I just think it's cool that Valiant's just really trying to branch out and just do some cool stuff.
Yeah, Valiant. I mean, they've been ever since they relaunched. They've been doing some great things, and even though I kind of fell behind on a lot of their stuff, I'm excited by this because the possibilities of like an Exo Man of War video game or a Ninjak video game just sounds really cool, and I want to play it if it's good. So
if it's not, then what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. But it's cool that they're getting those. Game. Yeah, it's cool they're getting those opportunities now, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure. And obviously the comic video games have been doing well with Spider-Man. People are excited for Avengers, so I get why they want to play in that sandbox.
Yeah.
But I honestly put that down for Michael because I'm sure he's really, really excited for that. That's like a combination of his life. So.
He'll be the first one to buy it too.
I'm sure he'll be number one on the list. All right, well, let's go to our last news piece here, which is Marvel Studios' Deadpool movie is underway. So what the hell is that going to look like? Is it still going to be rated R? Which I think it will. I don't think Disney's stupid. I know that, obviously they've made a lot of money. So I think they're just, going to continue doing what they're doing and make it rated R.
Yeah, they'll just roll with it, I think. And it'll be interesting to see what this one will be about. It's obviously we don't know anything yet, so there's not that much to talk about it, but they're just smart to leave it as is because it's one of those things is if it ain't broke, don't fix it,
Yeah. I love Ryan Reynolds' comment, though, basically that now that they're with Marvel, they're with the big boys. And I'm like, you were at Fox, and that says something when you say that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I actually watched that that Kelly show that day when he was on there. Yeah, because he was there to promote his movie on Netflix, and I happened to be home and it was on, and I saw Ryan Reynolds. And I'm like, ooh, Marvel guy. So I was like, I want to see what he has to talk about. Sure enough, they brought up the Deadpool thing, and yeah, he said it. It's exactly what he said. He's like, yeah, we're getting it together. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it should be interesting. But yeah, that's all the news we have to talk about this week. So, we have Under the Radar. This is gonna be tough because what is under the radar?
No books this week to be under the radar.
I didn't really have one.
I didn't either.
I found one, and honestly, I think we should probably just skip it this week. Michael's not here, and we really just don't got a lot of books to talk about.
Yeah.
So
speaking of that, like, how many books did you guys read this past week?
I read 6.
I actually read 10.
Brent got ahead.
Yeah, I read 6 also.
It was it's been a slow week. So for Christmas, I think I read 4.
Tevia, there are no books for me.
Ooh. That's bad. You didn't try one out? There was Action Comics that came out. Or unless you're not reading it, which is good. Serenity says his Under Radar was Hardcore from Image, which I didn't even know was a book. So
all right, so you're ready to discuss
24?
What? There's 24 books that came out? How much? Oh, not counting my back issues either.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Wow.
All right. Yes, we are ready to talk about the other books. So
all right. So here we go. Let's talk about probably, I guess, if you want to consider this a big book, it was a new #1 book this week. And this was Hawkeye Freefall, issue 1. Did both of you guys read it?
Yes, I got it signed. Got it signed.
Oh, nice.
Here it is.
Look at that.
Sweet.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to the signing, but I got it signed.
Instantly worth $1 million.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes. But so what do you guys think of this particular book? Was it a memorable book? Do you still find it like interesting? Are you going to continue it? What's going on with this?
You go, Brent.
She wants me to go first. I see.
Yeah.
We're gonna disagree on this. So I can feel it.
Oh, I mean, you saw my list of what I'm dropping.
Yeah, I know.
I know why she probably did not like this book.
Okay,
but so, I'll go first, Brent.
Yeah, I generally liked it. right? I don't know how long it's going to keep my interest, but I like the voice of Hawkeye here. I like the tone of the story. The mystery of, oh, there's another person wearing the Ronin costume is like, okay. And the fact that the other Avengers didn't believe that it wasn't Hawkeye was kind of annoying. After all this time, they should know. But overall, I enjoyed the story. I don't know if I buy the Hood as the big villain of the story. That's the problem that I have with it. But and the art I thought was okay. So I don't know. It wasn't the greatest Hawkeye book I've ever read, but I still had fun with it.
See, here's Kat's problem with it. She doesn't like the villain.
So I don't like the villain. I don't like.
She doesn't like the Hood, so that I can say.
Right.
I don't think she likes the artwork either because it's too cartoony. That's another thing.
You're right on that.
Yeah.
And then I can say that she might not like it because Kate's not in it.
I mean, that's always definite. But I didn't go into it saying Kate's not in it because I knew she wasn't going to be in it.
Right.
I'll say this about the art. I was talking with Chris on the phone the other day, and he was looking through it, contemplating whether to read it or not. And he saw the art and said, "Yeah, I don't like the art. I'm not reading it." So
it's definitely acquired. I didn't hate this book, honestly. Like, I probably will give it one more issue. I half chopped it because the only thing I liked about it a lot was the Ronin mystery. Because I am curious to see who's going to be underneath that suit. Sure. The girlfriend was okay. I mean, I don't know how memorable she was, but I thought once we got to that point, we got to like the more slice of life Hawkeye, which I enjoy more than like Hood stuff. Hood stuff, I'm like, oh my God, where is this going?
So real quick, just a question about it. They referenced her as Night Nurse. Is she the new Night Nurse?
I think so.
Okay. I don't know where that was, introduced. So.
It was very briefly discussed. Like that's.
Yeah.
I liked the book. I didn't think it was the best book either. I thought it was very forgettable, actually. Besides the whole thing, like, you naturally know that there was a new Ronin right from the start. So that's the only thing that you know that you're going to remember. But besides that, I didn't think it was a very memorable book. I didn't mind the artwork. I thought Clint was okay. The Hood, he's like okay, nothing spectacular. I was kind of the same way though. When I saw him, I'm like, oh, is this the best you got to offer? But I get he's just like kind of like that. I guess that introductory character before the main story gets going.
So many pages for him. That's the thing I didn't like. If it was 2 pages, that would be fine. And then you introduce Ronin. And then I feel like the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing was just there to promote their books. So
sure it was. Oh yeah, absolutely that was.
Of course. I did like the where he went to the courthouse and was talking about we don't normally do this part. That kind of going behind the curtain with that more down to earth. This is the part that we don't really normally deal with kind of thing. I like them referencing that. And I like that they kind of told us why it couldn't have been any of the other people that wore the Ronin suit before. So we kind of immediately ruled those out. So there were a few little things that I liked throughout it.
Nurse.
Yeah. But I think in a bigger week, I might not have liked it as well. But there wasn't a whole lot to read this week. So
yeah, no, absolutely not.
I agree. I gave this 3 stars because I think in that regard, it's just like comparing to everything else you read. It's just like, this was fine. There's nothing too much to compare it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very average book. I felt like, so I think it's another one of those books where you probably got to give it another couple issues to make a true, distinguishation of what it's going to be like.
Well, that's why I half chopped it. Because I don't think you can chop it with this one issue because I agree. I think it's going to be a series that kind of changes. Also, it's a mini series, so if you don't like
how many issues is it?
5.
Oh, it's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
You might drop it now.
Yeah, because the one thing that Marvel is doing way too much of is just way too many like miniseries and too many like one shots. Like even like when I was looking at the solicits for like March and stuff like that, it's just there's just so many of them, and it's just like they eat up a bunch of your money. I even if it's 12 issues, that's fine. Like 5 and 4, it's just like
But in that regard, I feel like they give more characters a chance that you wouldn't see. So that's why I'm like,
that's true. That's true.
And I think on the flip side with DC, it's just like, I'm so tired of seeing the same old characters over and over again. At least Marvel are giving something different.
I guess so.
Revan said Hawkeye and Thor were the only things he really liked. So.
That's good. Well, speaking of that, we're going to move on to Thor issue 1. So, Donny Cates takes over Thor. It's the first issue. And this is going to be a big change for people, I feel. Now, as a Donny Cates fan, I love his writing, and I like what he does. He's a very kind of universal type of writer. Like, he likes this godlike stuff, cosmic-like stuff. And I think the direction that he took Thor here after the first issue of this, I don't know if everyone's going to be on board with it, but personally, I liked it. I thought it was a well-written book, and I'm curious to see the direction of this long term.
I thought it was well written for sure, but it's like kind of the Venom effect for me, which is interesting because it's Donny Cates, and he writes both books. But I personally couldn't find anything I could latch onto because I've not been following the cosmic stuff at all. I don't like cosmic Marvel, so I'm just like, what do I like about this? But is it a good book? Hell yeah, it's a good book, but I don't know if I care about the plot. Hold on, someone's on speakerphone, and I gotta tell them not to be on speakerphone. Hold on.
Yeah. Let's just watch Cat talk off panel. That's fun.
So yeah, get off the speakerphone.
Exactly what I said. I'm like, please.
It's funny.
Still not happening, but I try.
What are you gonna do?
Anyways, Thor.
Yes, Thor. Was that all your thoughts?
That's it. Honestly, that was like the artwork was good. I'm not picking up issue 2.
See, that's where I disagree. I wasn't sold on the artwork. The artwork.
Oh, okay.
The artwork was the detractor for me. The story I thought was fine. I was a little bored at the beginning, but I liked where it went, and the twist with what happens with him becoming Galactus Herald and all that stuff. I thought that's what really caught my interest. And it's like, oh, I've got to read the next issue just to see how this goes now. But beyond that, it was just like, at first it was, okay, it's another Thor story, And I'm not the biggest Thor fan either. And I did like Donny Cates' Guardians of the Galaxy a lot, but I haven't read like a lot of the other cosmic stuff recently either. So I was I don't know what's going on with Silver Surfer and all that stuff. And but yeah, Galactus falling into Asgard for Thor's help, and then the twist and turn that kept my interest.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. That's our title.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what we thought about that. Yeah, I agree. I think the twist was interesting to see that, but do I want to follow it personally? No. I'm fine, but like I think it's a really cool story. I do see Serenity saying it's out of character. I don't know. I thought it felt like Thor to me, and he's just been through a lot of shit. So yeah,
out of character for Thor specifically.
Yeah, he said he was not a douchebag to Loki, so I guess he was. Let me read it. I'm not on board. Everyone was out of character. I don't like all these random out of nowhere new looks for Thor and Asgard. Also, last time we saw Thor, he was not a douchebag to Loki.
It depends on who's writing him and where you see him. Because like in the Loki series, it's like a complete tongue-in-cheek kind of, it's more humor, right? This is definitely a more serious take on their relationship. So it's kind of the perspective of the writer, I think. I don't think it's necessarily out of character as opposed to just seeing a different side of them.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see where it takes, but I think it definitely is catered to someone more like Mike, who's been following all the cosmic stuff. It's just this whole big saga. And if you haven't been following it, I think you wouldn't be as invested in the tale. Oh.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Mike.
We can't hear you, Mike, for some reason. Oh. Hopefully you can hear us.
He pointed it.
That's my thumbs up saying that his mic's not working.
Yeah. But you just got it, Mike.
I know. Now he left us. But But yeah, those are our Thor thoughts. Are you gonna? I mean, we'll talk about it in the chopping block, but invested.
I'm gonna give it one more issue, just to see where this Herald of Galactus thing goes. If it goes somewhere boring, I might drop it because I just, like I said, I'm not the hugest Thor fan, and it takes a lot for me to stick with the Thor title.
Yeah, I guess we'll move on to our number 5s. I just want to showcase Tevia's X-Men issue 4, Apocalypse in a Suit was really funny. Nice. That was pretty good. And then Slime says, I think Mike is trying to morph with those hand gestures. All right, so yeah, we'll go to number 5. My number 5 was Hawkeye. So we talked about it.
My number 5 was also Hawkeye. It's funny. I will say, because you brought it up, X-Men is not my top 5.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's my number 6, and the only reason is I like the issue. I like the whole conversation with Magneto and Apocalypse doing most of the talking, and Professor X just kind of holding back until he drops that bomb at the end. I thought that was kind of cool. But overall, the issue was basically just them sitting around a table talking, and that's why it just went down a notch for me.
See, I thought and we'll talk about how many, see if Mike could get.
Yeah.
There we go. Talk.
Hello.
Yeah,
you're good now.
Yeah.
We're doing our number. Oh, we're gonna say Mike. Sorry.
No, I just said everything got so glitchy.
So maybe it was just like pausing. We did our number 5s, which was both Hawkeye, but we're talking about X-Men. And Brand said X-Men wasn't on his top because it was very talky. And I was just gonna say, I liked how dynamic the talkie was. Like, I like the intercuts. I love Professor Xavier. Yeah. I like the slow burn. I enjoyed the issue.
I liked all that stuff, but still, it was just talking and not any forward momentum at all.
Oh man, I enjoyed the political aspect of it all, and how they just kind of spited them all, and all the courses, all the dinner, all the food. The food was great.
I appreciate that they interspersed a little bit of action there with Cyclops and Gorgon taking on, not Gorgon, whatever his name is. It's Gorgon, right?
Which guy? Oh, I don't even know.
The other guy with the swords, whatever his name is. That they tried to interject a little bit of action there, but I think if they had broken up the issue a little bit more and shown something else, it might have been a little bit more entertaining for me.
Understandable.
Yeah, not for me. I didn't like this one. I was just like, it was just too boring for me. I was just like, oh.
I lost Mike.
Oh my god! And that was such a sudden one.
Yeah, Krakoa cut him off. Yeah. Just like, nope.
Mike Manhattan says, "Cat liking a Hickman book is still crazy." I know. I'm liking it though. I really like X-Men. It grew on me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we've got a lot of questions about Doomsday Clock. Yes, we are going to talk about it, but we're talking about the books that came out 2 weeks ago later in the cast, so we could try to talk about the books that came out this week. But we are going to talk about Doomsday Clock, and we are going to talk about, well, we already talked about Incoming. We're going to talk about some of those new books that came out really. Also, not really. Cat likes character development over plot. Oh, I guess that was the comment of me liking Hickman. I just think Hickman's doing more character development than he's ever done in any other book with X-Men. For sure.
I agree.
And it took a while to get there. It's like, those first couple issues for House of X and Powers of X, I didn't really like them. And then once you finally got that House of X issue 2, you're like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And it's like, it's weird for me to be liking a Hickman book as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, for all of us, we've kind of had the same flavor for him, and I'm excited to read more of his stuff. I think he's on a roll. Serenity says, "Love the political and social talk. The writing and verbiage gave me an nerdgasm, and the art was perfect for the issue." Yeah, I like the political stuff as well. I feel like the beginning of the issue, I'm like, where's this going? And then once we got to the Professor Xavier stuff, more about the ideologies, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I would ask what Mike's number 5 was, but he's gone. So we are going to talk about Mauraders, issue 5. Got a lot to talk about with Mauraders. Well, only Emma and Kitty, really. Everything else didn't really matter. But...
That's what I was going to say. That's the only good parts of the issue.
Yeah, I didn't love this issue by any means, but I loved Emma and Kitty. They were so good in this issue. I loved the little peck on the cheek. I loved their little conversation about... I felt like this is the first time where Kitty's journey made sense, because the big complaint of mine has been that, like, why the hell is she a pirate? Like, this, like, I get it, but there's never been anything on the page that made sense of how she jumped there. And for me, at least how I'm bridging the gap, is that I feel like this is her teenage rebellion. This is her way of saying, hey, how if I joined the Hellfire Club? What would have happened? My life sucks. I wasn't a teenager when I was a teenager, because I was part of the X-Men. So let me be a teenager now and just totally rebel. So I got that. And I think she's, like, rebelling, and I really enjoyed... I love them. I think they're really cool. I don't know what vibe they're trying to go for, though. Are they gonna, like, be together by the end? Because Jerry Dugan on Twitter said, like, someone asked, like, oh, like, is this book gonna be gay? And he's like, all my books are. So, like, where is that going? So I'm really curious to see, like, what Emma and Kitty's relationship's gonna be.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see which direction they go with that, because there's so many directions they could go with that, right? It could just be this mutual respect kind of thing. It could be, like you're saying, a more romantic. It could, I mean, you don't know until we get there. And I kind of like that we're kind of left out there wondering what's up with these two, you know?
Yeah, it could be this. It could be this flirty thing, or it just could be like something that's happening off panel, and it just leaves you guessing, you know, type of thing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, I got cut out. You know, it was a StreamYard thing. It's like StreamYard goes, something went wrong. Yeah, no shit. I know. Like, it kicked me out. Like, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah, you like really got totally kicked out.
Yeah, no, like it kicked me off completely that time.
Crazy.
So we talked about X-Men. We did our number 5, and now we're on the big books for number 4. So we were talking about Mauraders, and we just both agreed that the only thing good was Kitty and Emma.
I mean, what do you think about this plot point? Like, what do you think about the overall book, though, at this point now?
Ooh. I like that Kitty and Emma might be in a relationship, and that's about it. Honestly, like, I don't know. Like, I just like Kitty and Emma. I think they make the book. And I also do like the political aspect of the Hellfire Club. But I wrote this in my review for Newsarama. I don't feel like this is a team book. Like, all these other plot lines don't feel connected by any means.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And that's why, both the X-Men books were a little down for me this week, even though Mauraders is in my top 5, just because of the Kitty and Emma stuff. But yeah, it's like this stuff with Shaw. It is a little disconnected, and I don't care about it.
Yeah,
like, you know, he's always underhanded. He's gonna be underhanded. Do something different with the guy.
Do you think that these books were kind of like, these particular issues were a little bit maybe purposely on the fillerish side because of the holiday?
It sure feels like it. I don't know if that was by design or if it just happened that way, but it does feel that way.
Right. Yeah, I kind of felt that way too. I mean, I like Mauraders better than X-Men this particular week.
I agree.
I still thought it was better. I just can't get over Pyro with his freaking skull tattoo. That's just weird.
All those tattoos, man. We do have a comment from Serenity about Kitty and Emma. To quote someone from X Twitter, which I didn't know the X-Men had a Twitterverse, but they met when Kitty was 13 and Emma was 25. If they haven't become friends in all these years, why now? I mean, I think people grow up and people become different people, you know? Like, you could hate someone in high school and then meet them 10 years later and be like, oh, you maybe go out to work or whatever. You meet them through mutual friends and you become friends with that person. So people change.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
when you're 13 and another person's 25. I think that's the point of their relationship, is to show like that they're both changing. And they even mention it here. They literally, the whole entire dialogue is saying like, we're different people now. Yeah.
I do want to, real quick, just a little sidetrack, give a shout out to the people watching on Twitch. I just happened to pop over there and I saw how do you say his name? Metro Cronus or Mestro Cronus. He's back this week. We had aka Dark 33 and Friend Boyman 1. They were all watching over on Twitch. I actually lost the chat, so I can't see what they said. For some reason, it refreshed on me. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks
damn.
for the comic book weekly, following from Twitch over there, man.
Yeah, it's nice. I wish I checked it, but I never know how to get on there, so I've just stopped trying.
We're our fan base of 6 people over there, yeah.
Oh,
That's
and
a
Serenity
start.
said,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. We're starting. Serenity, just to say about that comment, said that wasn't his comment. It was just what people were saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, about the shipping aspect of them, not their friendship.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right. So that was Mauraders. Pick up to Star Wars, right?
Yeah, now we're up to Star Wars issue 1. So, Kat, did you buy this or did you not find yourself wanting to buy it?
I saw the preview of it, but I did not. But like I skimmed through it, like at the comic book store, I saw pages of it, but I did not read it. But from what I saw, I thought it was interesting the place they were starting at. But knowing me, I always pick up a Star Wars book and end up dropping it, and that's why I didn't pick it up. I'm like, all right, I'll read a couple issues, and then my haul gets way too big, and it's the thing I have to drop.
I thought this book was good because it gets to the point where Luke is he's conflicted in a way. He doesn't know what's going on. It's like he just found out his dad is Darth Vader. He is not getting any answers from Ben. He's not getting any answers from Yoda. He doesn't know who he is, what he should do. And I thought, like, character wise, that's all stuff as a Star Wars fan, like, you wanted to find out between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. And I thought that the characters were really well done. I think Charles Soule really knows how to write these characters, especially Darth Vader. I pointed that out in the panels when he had that one scene when he was talking to that, I don't know who, I forgot that female's name. But he was so much in character there. And I was just like, man, that's Darth Vader right there. He's just takes no mercy from anybody. And I'm looking forward to this chapter of Star Wars here.
I think it's a more rich chapter to follow, right? Like, I think there's definitely more character beats you could do.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I did read it, and I really enjoyed this time period, like you were talking about, Kat, and all the character stuff that Mike was talking about. I love Lucas. They start off the issue with that whole montage of his hand falling into the pit, and he's like hearing over and over again in his mind, "I am your father, I'm your father," and it's then you jump to him just kind of like dazed and out of it, and just like trying to take in this information, and all this stuff is going on around him, and he's not hearing any of it.
Yeah,
I love the way that was handled, and he had to be snapped out of it because they're in the middle of a battle here, and he's got to get on board, and all that stuff, and and I love the way that the I forget her name too, but the soldier of the Empyre is like, oh, that's the Millennium Falcon. We have to divert everything to that. Mm-hmm. And then that conversation with Vader, and he's like, that ship's off limits.
Yeah.
It's like, but then it's like, I don't care what you do with Leia, but there's somebody else on the ship I want.
Yeah.
Don't hurt them.
But it's really. Oh, sorry, Kat.
I was just gonna say I am interested to see what they do with Leia, though, because that was also a chapter of, like, in the movies they didn't really do much about her knowing about her father. So I think it'd be kind of cool with this book. That might get me. That'll get me into and read it. So if that happens,
it's really good. Like Brant was saying, because it puts you in the point of view of Luke, of what he's going through mentally, like how to deal with that. It's gotta be mind-blowing. It's like you just got your freaking hand chopped off. You just found out that Darth Vader is your father, and you got to go out there and destroy a whole bunch of TIE fighters now.
And on top of that, he's disconnected from his mentors. He can't get Obi-Wan or Yoda to answer him. And he's just like screaming at them, like, answer me. And I need some kind of guidance here. And by the end of the issue, it's got him questioning, if I'm not going to be a Jedi, what am I going to be? And it's like that where he could have turned. You know, it was that point, and it's like, oh man, this is so good. This is what we missed, obviously, and it's a really solid story to tell.
And I think Star Wars fans, you know, of the original trilogy will actually really appreciate this. So I definitely, personally, I recommend it to people that like Star Wars.
Somebody said spoilers, so we forgot to do it. So that's the wrong one. Where's the good one? We lost the good one, but there's that one.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're being sarcastic about the
I know.
Thing.
It's the beginning of the year. We're out of routine.
I mean,
we're doing great.
Empire Strikes Back came out, what, 1980?
82 maybe, I think it was, or something.
I know
like
I wasn't alive.
The first one was 77, so I think the second one was
it 80? Really?
Yeah, and I think Return of the Jedi was 80.
It was 80. Oh, okay.
83. 83.
Yeah, I was thinking 83. Yeah.
Slime says my experience has been ruined with Star Wars. Honestly, like, we probably have enough time if we like very shortly wanted to talk about Star Wars, but
yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, because we're almost like done with the show. It's only 50 minutes in. So Star Wars, I saw it opening day. Funny enough, I saw it with a group of friends, like with people like really like Star Wars, and the person next to me, I was laughing at the end. I'm like, that was shit. And she was crying. And I'm like, are you okay? She's like, it was so beautiful. Oh, like, I'm sorry I laughed. I didn't like it personally. I Leia, man, she took a nap, died. Like, she's so strong with the Force, but if she needs to talk to Ben and say no, she dies. I just have so many issues with it, but I like Last Jedi more than this.
Yeah, I did like Last Jedi more than this, and I probably liked Force Awakens more. I didn't hate it.
Me too.
I did enjoy elements of it, but I had a lot of issues. And I think my main pet peeve is that if this is supposed to be the last of the Skywalker saga, we left so many threads of all these characters open.
Yeah.
You had Finn running around all the movie saying, I've got to tell you something, Ray. Never tells her anything.
And also that ending with the woman just says, what's your name? Ray's like, Ray Skywalker.
I know, right?
No one even asked for her last name. You could have just said Ray.
I think where this movie had elements where it could have been great, and it just took the wrong turns. And I think Abrams just basically tried to retcon a lot of stuff, and it just and here's the problem, okay? If you like The Last Jedi, that's fine. A lot of people didn't like Last Jedi.
Or Rose.
My problem with Last Jedi is that it ruined the conclusion to this trilogy. That's the issue. Because if you had J.J. Abrams on all three movies, I think you could get a much better conclusion to this trilogy. A more cohesive story where Rian Johnson sat there and made something and completely changed everything. He sent all the people out into different adventures, and their characters never developed. When you think about a second movie in a trilogy, that movie is key to set up a conclusion, right? To set up that third movie. And we didn't get any character development. The only character that was developed, I felt, in this movie was Kylo Ren. He was the only one that was consistent all the way through.
But people went through hoops for it. They're like, all right, he's got to be alive. We need to talk to him through his head. Let's have a dad come in.
Yeah. And Rey, it was just like, all of a sudden, I'm Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter. Well, how are you his granddaughter? Like, what happened? And then Palpatine comes back and he's just like, I've been behind this the whole time. And then it's just like, and then all of a sudden he's just like, join me, Kylo, and you can have my empire. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of Star Destroyers just rise from the ground. How long has he been doing this for?
Yeah, this was totally. I mean, obviously, with Force Awakens, it was very clear that they were trying to kind of repeat this and say that it's kind of like a cycle, and that's what it felt like to me. It was like, this is basically a remake of Star Wars with different characters. A New Hope for those new to the franchises. But I think they went too far with that comparison with this movie. With the Palpatine thing, it was the "I'm your father" moment.
Right.
With Kylo, it was the deathbed redemption moment of Vader. It was almost mirror to mirror, and I get what they were going for, but I just feel like it was handled.
The incest kiss. We have all of it.
Oh my god, the kiss.
The kiss was bad. I think even Rey was just like, fuck.
And how did Rey didn't die? Like, she was dead. Like, she didn't die. She didn't, like, no Force ghost, no nothing. Was she, like, barely alive? You know?
Saying, so all of a sudden, now Jedis can bring people back from the dead. Okay. Sure.
And that's just like too much, right? Like your powers are a little out of hand then. But then of course, again, Leia dies. The only part of that movie I liked was the little moment we saw of the flashback that Leia trained as the Jedi. It was literally 30 seconds of the movie, and I like that.
I like that. I like Kylo throughout this entire franchise because it was all about his redemption. That's what the story was, and the fact that he dies is just like, well, what was the point then?
Yeah, it would have been fine if you know what would have been better if she died and he was the one to take over as the next protector of the galaxy. He would redeem himself.
But that ruins having a female take over. But the problem I have with that is ultimately the male saved the female at the end because he gave his life to save her, and it's like. So, sorry, I think my internet cut out for a second, but so many problems.
I think I heard you. No, but okay. I do agree.
Sorry.
I feel like Rey, as a main character, was so weak and didn't have her own story, and which is what I liked about Last Jedi more is that even though it was not a great movie by any means, I thought Rey was strong, and I thought Kylo was really strong. It took everything else away. Like she had a really good arc, and then they just totally killed it. With this movie because she really had nothing to do besides flipping through stuff. Let me see. Brevin said, I thought there would be a Disney kiss where Kylo used a Force kiss to bring her back to life. I mean, kind of isn't that what happened? They kissed and she does come back to life. So it kind of was a Disney kiss.
I just don't get the kiss. I know
the relationship makes no sense at all. It came out of nowhere.
Lisa, I was talking to Lisa about it, and she actually thought that's where it was headed. And I'm like, no, I felt like a brother-sister kind of thing all the way through for me. So, I don't know.
So as you can see, we didn't like the movie, so that's our Star Wars thoughts.
But there have been worse Star Wars movies, I will say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like, if you look at it, it was an entertaining movie. I thought it was action-packed. I like seeing the Emperor back. You know, I thought he was cool. But again, it all had to do with the characters. Like Poe's character was horrible. It's like, hey, let's introduce some girl, and you know, and it's just like, let's know nothing about her, but we have to introduce her. Yeah, we have to introduce her so she can give this coin so they can get on the Star Destroyer.
You know why they did that? Disney was not happy that people were shipping Poe and Finn, and they wanted to make it very obvious that they would be together, and that's why they ended up putting the love relationship into it. But people are pissed.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There were moments in this movie where you had the Han Leia moment with Poe and Rey, and then you had Finn chasing Rey around, and then you had Kylo and Rey. It's just like, what the? They couldn't make up their mind what they wanted to do, I think.
I felt like it wasn't a finished script. It was, anyways. That's our thoughts. Those are our thoughts of Star Wars. Right. I think, what are we even up to, Mike?
Number 3, 4?
I think 4. I don't think we gave her number 4.
No, I don't think we did. You're right.
Yeah.
So what's your number 4, Kat?
Oh man, let's see. I don't even remember. Mauraders.
No, how about you, Brent?
Thor.
Gotcha. I don't even have an order. That's how it was for me this week. It's 6 books, and I'm like, whatever. I can tell you my favorite was Thor this time around. But when it came to all the rest, I was like, okay. You know, maybe
you were going to say Star Wars.
No, I think it was Thor and Star Wars were the top 2. The other ones I could care less about, really.
Okay.
You know?
I had 2 books I enjoyed this week. So once we get there.
Let's talk about, I didn't read this, and then we're talking about a book that came out last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is Doctor Strange. I didn't read it. What'd you guys think of it, if you read it?
Yeah. Doctor Strange wasn't that great. It was kind of boring. The artwork was bulky. I'm not getting the next issue.
Yeah,
short-lived.
Exactly the same. I don't think I even finished it. Yeah.
I'm happy I did not pick this up.
Yeah, you would not have liked it.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, and then I'm like, have I ever liked a Doctor Strange book that lasted only once? And that was for the first 6 issues when it had to do with that Infinity Stone that they were searching after. That was a good story when he lost his powers and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. And then the only thing that I'm looking forward to with Strange is that whole Strange Academy story that's getting ready to come out. That could be fun, but that's not a true Doctor Strange book. So I just changed my mind on it because I was like, I don't think I'm going to read this for long term.
You made a good decision.
Yes, I was wise.
You were.
All right, so that ended that conversation. All right, so let's talk about Tom Taylor's newest book, Suicide Squad. This is issue 1. Personally, I like this book. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was a little on the gory side, which I liked, and I love the Musketeer, or was that the guy that got killed in the book? Yeah. Those Suicide Squad members, I was like, oh my god, these guys are such losers, and then they go end up getting killed. But I kind of like the Musketeer. I was sad when he got killed because I was like, dude, he's funny as hell, So, but overall, I thought the book was good. And we're getting a mix of the old and a mix of new. And I think if Tom Taylor writes it correctly, I think maybe we could like these future characters. What'd you guys think of it?
Sorry.
I thought it was solid. I really love the art. This was fun. It was a good first issue. I don't remember if it made my top 5 or not, but it was definitely something I enjoyed and remember saying, I'm definitely want to read this next issue. It's been a while because it came out like 3 weeks ago. But
and there was
I
a lot of
remember
books
enjoying
that
it.
did come out.
Oh yeah, there was like 20 something books, and I read those all in one day, so they all kind of meshed together. But it shows that I remember something from it, that it was good, and I do remember really liking it.
It surprised me. I liked it more than I thought I would, and for that same reason you were talking about, all these losers, and then they get killed off, and it's like, okay, that's got my attention. So I'll at least give it another one.
Also, Amanda Waller not being the head anymore.
I was just about to bring that up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. The Amanda Waller thing. We have that new guy. I forgot his name, but and it doesn't look like he's taking anything from the Suicide Squad. He's not going to hesitate at all.
Right.
I also like that other team. They're not actually part of the same team, so they're going to have to learn to work together. I thought that was interesting.
Right. It's a different take on the whole thing. It's, they're doing something a little bit different, which I appreciate.
I'm trying to remember what their team name was. I don't even remember.
I can't remember. It's been too long.
Yeah. God dang. That's what happens when you read so many comic books, right?
I had 3 weeks ago.
All right. So, what was that? Is our number 3?
Yeah.
So we'll give our number 3.
Yeah, I think mine was Thor, so we already talked about it.
Mine's Mauraders. We already talked about it.
All right. So then let's talk about
we talked about Incoming.
We talked about Incoming. Then we had Batman issue 85.
The one thing I want to say about this is that I think it's so sad that I don't really remember what happened. And this is the final chapter in Tom King's run. I'm like, honestly, I don't remember what happened in this. Oh, Gotham Girl. That's the one thing I was pissed off at. For some reason, just really forgiven very easily. She destroyed Gotham and hey, I'm gonna get my powers now. And Bruce is like, good job. It's that's weird.
Oh yeah, her powers are restored, so she can't die anymore.
Right.
Which I like her, but that whole entire Robin arc made no sense then.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't understand where that came from. I don't know. I'm like you. I'm struggling to remember exactly what happened. I know that Thomas Wayne is basically broken, right? That's basically what it boiled down to.
Catwoman and Batman end up together. I
Yeah,
don't
of
think they
course.
get officially married though.
No, because they ended up sleeping together before they actually went through the process.
Oh
of
yeah, that's right. They're like, oh, let's go get married, okay, and then
it's
they
like,
wind up going to bed together. And it's
yeah,
like,
we never made
okay,
it. Oh well, we're
oh,
good.
yeah, me.
It's like,
Yeah, it was a interesting issue. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Hey, it's done, and we're getting a new one very soon.
That's what I'm happy
Tomorrow.
about. Yeah, we'll see if this direction's any better. Say that.
Oh, that was a point too. Tevye says that Joker knows Batman's Bruce Wayne, which
Yeah.
man, that was not a good end. And that's actually from the James tie-in. So I don't know where that's going. I didn't really like it.
I don't care. I liked it better than the whole other story anyway. I did. I was like, oh, this is already better. Because I'm so
anything could be
ready for just a change, some kind of change.
I swear, if they bring in Bane before like a year, I'm gonna be upset.
He shouldn't even be in this entire run.
He shouldn't be.
Nice.
DNGN says the Kite Man football allegory where Kite Man's all the angry fans and Bruce is Tom King. Honestly, like I don't even remember the allegory. So I don't remember. I remember he watched the game.
Yeah, he's watching the game. Yep. All right. Well, I did not read this book, but I guess something supposedly big happened in it, and it's Doomsday Clock, issue 12. So I haven't read Doomsday Clock since issue 3.
I'm gonna let Kat take the lead on this because Chris and I did do a show the week it came out, and we talked extensively about it. So I want to hear Kat's thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's been a while, but the big thing was the 5G thing, or whatever it's called. So we get like a more than 5-year plan. It seems like a 50-year plan of what DC wants to do, and one's like, oh, they're gonna cross over with Marvel, and that was like the big one I remember. I honestly don't remember any other ones, but they talk about what their plans are, and I remember liking the book.
Yeah, it was good. It was like they supposedly restored DC history through it, like, and Superman's parents are alive again, and different things like that happen. And then the big takeaway for what's his name, Dr. Manhattan, is that he took marionettes and what's the other one? Mimes.
The guy, yeah.
Their child, and raised it to be until it was like 10, 13, something like that, and then gave him to a family. I don't remember who the family was. They were significant though. But anyway, he named him Clark. He named him Clark. So he created his own little
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I remember when I wrote my review for Newsarama, the thing I was pissed off about though is that I mean, the point of this book is that nothing matters, right? That's literally what the point is that no matter what happens in DC or Marvel, all the toys will go back. You know, no matter as many decades change, the characters will always stay the same. So, like, I feel like that's such a double standard, right? Because what are events about is change and like something happening. So if you're contradicting yourself saying nothing ever happens, then what's the point of reading anything, you know? So I thought that was weird. I didn't really know what theme they were trying to say. Like, what was the message of this book for a big event? Like, are you saying they don't matter? Like, what are you trying to say?
So what truly was accomplished by writing this whole thing?
Nothing really. And that's a big problem of the whole book.
I think if it had come out on time and if they hadn't had to move forward with plans and stuff, it might have brought back, like, it would have continued Rebirth in a way that restored more of DC history, but they had to kind of course correct. And so then it just became this thing where, hey, we'll throw in all these teases. Some of them may happen, some of them may not.
Most probably won't.
Yeah, and we'll fix a couple of things, and the rest is just, hey, this is a fun story. if you liked it. I think that's basically the gist of it.
Yeah, I think it definitely lost itself along the way. But if you read this 5 years from now, you'll probably enjoy it a bit more than if you're reading it now.
It's kind of funny because it's like I asked you guys, oh, when does this come out in trade? And then you guys were like, well, there's two parts. One that came out, when was it? Like in
September or something
September.
like that.
And then you're like, yeah, and part 2, does it come out in May? I'm like, for real? Like, it's already a printed story. Why do we have to wait 5 months for it? Like, why can't you just come out with it in February? So then it's just like I can read part 1 and I can read part 2. So I still got to wait another 5 months to read the continuation of the story. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, honestly, I would just wait until it comes out in one book, because just like if you're waiting that long, just get the one. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I just don't know where DC's going. I don't think they know where it's going, and I think it was a well-written story that kind of makes no sense. It just the one thing that I was disappointed though, like being that I do on my channel now, like these preview videos every month, the lack of DC Comics actually coming out, like new books coming out. The only thing that I saw on there was like, we got this Adam Strange book that's coming out with them. And then that was it. And I was just like, everything else is a continuation or a celebration. Now, the celebration issues are great. You know, you got the 80th anniversary of Robin. You got the Flash is continuing its legacy numbering, and Wonder Woman's continuing legacy numbering. But there's nothing fresh, nothing new, you know, from, I guess, characters that we have been missing. You know, we got like Joe Hill comics and stuff like that. That's cool. But when it comes to the heroes that we love, it's just a complete lackluster right now.
This was another thing that happened in Doomsday Clock. They reestablished that the JSA did exist, and so they reintroduced them into the timeline.
But didn't we know that from Justice League?
We did, and that's kind of what that led to Sweet's comment, which where was it? I think it was Sweet that said this. Remember, Doomsday Clock mattered until Snyder took over Justice League.
Well, it's true though.
It is.
And then JSA still doesn't have its own title, and it's just but going back to what you were saying, Mike. I DC not coming out. I mean, DC didn't release any issues during Christmas at all. Marvel at least released something, and then there's nothing exciting. Like, my least favorite book this week was Batgirl, and it just saddens me so friggin' much that it's just like, it's not a memorable book. Barbara Gordon's a great character, and they don't know what to do with her. Nightwing, who's reading that. It's just sad. It's just, and then what are the new books you have? A Birds of Prey book because of the movie coming out. Like, that's the only thing that's new, and it's a miniseries, I think. Oh, the Amanda Connor one, not even the one that they announced and then canceled.
Yeah.
And then obviously you just got Suicide Squad that came out. You know,
which is fun, but that's one out of how many months of new books? There's that's the first book in a long time.
Batgirl's so unmemorable, I forgot about it completely.
There you go. And you know what? You could, because it really was not a good issue.
Yeah.
Ours is very good.
When, speaking of Justice League, when does Justice League get taken over by Venditti? Is it 40?
I'm not sure.
It's definitely really soon.
Yeah.
A year or two.
Anybody in the comments, if you guys know that, you could put that too before Brant looks it up. He's on it.
They'll beat me too, probably.
Trying.
Let's see what happens. Who wins?
I am excited for Adam Strange, though. Is it 40? That makes sense. I am excited for Adam Strange. I think that's going to be a interesting book.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so that's a good little chat there. So we talked about that. So what's your guys' number one's book then?
Did we do number 2?
I don't think we did number 2.
Oh, what's number 2?
Star Wars was my number 2.
My 2 was X-Men, so just disagreeing with you guys. All right, what's your number 1?
I was like this for X-Men. I was like, oh my god.
I was like, tell me more, Professor.
I want to see the grandmas again.
I mean, yes, that was a better issue.
Okay, so now number 1.
We might have the same one.
Dial H.
Dial H, yeah.
Yeah. What else would there be?
I mean, seriously, that was such a good issue. So in this issue, we get to see multiverses in a good way. So they're traveling the multiverses, and Summer gets to see her version of her Dial H character. And she has fun with that. But what I really liked, well, first of all, funny wise, we find out that Miguel's a street in this version. Like legit, just a street.
He's a street.
That's funny.
As a superhero. And then you find out like the Daily Planet was taken over by like Arkham Times or whatever. So like they're so confused. Like, is this for Arkham? Is it run by Arkham? So that was a lot of fun.
This whole world, Mike, and you didn't read it, right, Mike?
No, I didn't read it.
Yeah, this whole world that Kat's talking about, they're like all the characters are mashed. It's like, so you have Wonder Hawk for Wonder Woman and Hawk.
Okay, I
all
got
it. Everybody. So go ahead.
That's funny.
Yeah, but the part that really makes this book is the heart, where we get to find out that Miguel, he's kind of tempted with this power to become a villain in a way. And then Summer is like, no, like she's like this moral compass for him. It's like, that's not right. And you honestly, like the way the ideologies are shown, though, you're like, what is right? Like, who do you trust? It's like kind of this really interesting thing about power and what power does. And I like the rift that it brought Miguel and Summer. And it's such a freaking good book. And I don't think enough people are reading it.
Yeah, and it was almost kind of that Star Wars moment with Miguel. He had to make the decision between the Jedi and the Sith. And at the end he's like, he chooses to use the dial. And it's the dial that splits people, so he's like split into four. And the teaser we get is a cover image of Reign of the Super Miguels, and you've got him as all four Supermen. It's just hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just this book is so good, and you don't expect it to be this good because it does play to like nostalgia in a bit in different ways, and
but it's so new too because the characters are. I feel like someone you haven't seen like ever. Like it's
just
so
a
cool.
fun read, right? Yeah, a good time reading
it's fun,
it.
but it's smart too. Like it's not it's mindless. It's like it's if you really think about it, it has like really good themes. It's just such a tightly knit comic that I feel like we don't get ever again. Like I think when you enjoy a comic, maybe like the Jane Fosters of the crew, like that's a really tight written comic, but they're very far in between where every week it's just consistent. And it's just well written, and maybe because it is 12 issues and it has a planned ending.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the entire concept of the dial is ordinary people doing extraordinary things, kind of. And with Miguel and what's her name?
Summer.
And I lost it for a minute. Miguel and Summer, in their case, they're told not to use the dial, so they're having to do these extraordinary things as themselves, which I think speaks a lot to their character and just in general. Just the strength of an individual. So it's a really cool message.
I hope these characters exist past this. I know they're going to be in Young Justice tomorrow. So I'm excited for that. Yeah. But if anything gets written past Wonder Comics, please let it be Dial H.
Yeah.
It's not a Brian Michael Bendis book.
It isn't. No.
Yeah, see. All right. So that was the number one book, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so we'll move on to what do we got? The chopping block, right?
We do.
It's probably all Kat's books.
I have a lot of books.
Yeah, I threw in Doctor Strange, but we already mentioned that. So,
all right, let's do my list. So, American Jesus. I bought this because it was the Project Xmas book, and you were trying to figure out which Millar book it was, and I just couldn't get into it. I didn't really care for it. I'd never read the other American Jesus stuff, so I tried the issue 1. Spider-Ham.
That was a given.
Yeah,
of course. I had no books. I had to pick up something. So I'm like, let me do Spider-Ham. I did like the cliffhanger though. So Spider-Ham's going into these different multiverses, and then he ends up going face to face with MJ, like real human MJ, and they're like scared of each other. Like that was fun, but I don't need the next issue.
Yeah, absolutely not. Now, how much did you pay for that book? $5?
I think it was $3.99. I got it off Comixology, so I just pressed.
Okay.
Boop, 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 because I didn't go to my comic store that week. But like usually, if I buy something off Comixology, if I'm away for the week, I usually try to pick it up printed. And I told my store, I'm like, no, I'm good. Just give me Outcast and give me Betty Page. Those are the only books I got printed after I bought them on Comixology. Let's see. What else? Thor, I'm probably going to drop because I don't personally see anything that I would like past what I saw. And then Hawkeye, I'm half chopping because I want to give it one more issue.
All right. What about you, Brent?
Just Doctor Strange. That's
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I can't drop Doctor Strange. I already dropped it before I even picked it up. So that's that. And I might give Hawkeye another little try and see, or maybe it depends on the week.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I will say you'll be proud of me for next week. Maybe I'll mention it next week, but I guess I'm just mentioning it this week. I'm dropping New Mutants. I was like, oh,
yes.
I love you, Ileana, but
yes,
I couldn't anymore.
Yeah. You gotta do it because it sucks.
I'm only getting 2 X-Men books now, though. I'm only getting X-Men and Mauraders, which I had predicted were the only books I was gonna pick up anyways.
Yeah, I'm still getting
I still get 3.
Yeah, I'm getting. Well, I actually get 4. I get Excalibur still too, and X.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I like Excalibur.
Soon you're gonna get Wolverine though, so that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
Well, hopefully
I have to drop Excalibur.
It's written by the same writer as X-Force Cat, so I don't know if you're going to be on board.
But at least it's one character, so maybe I'll like it a bit more.
But I think it's going to kind of tie into this X-Force book of what's happening with Wolverine, because he just got chopped in half in the last issue.
That is true.
And Quickfire got blown the fuck up. Like, he literally did. Quickfire's head chopped off. Yeah. They went in through the gates of Krakoa, and these assassins cut off the power to them. And as they were going through it, trying to attack them, the Krakoan gates just closed, and it chopped Wolverine in half. So one side of him's in the other side of the gate, and one side is on the other half of the gate. And Quentin got his head chopped off, and it's crazy. And Domino lived. It's because she's obviously lucky.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stick with Emma and Kitty's romance book.
Oh, come on. You know, like the violence and gore?
I mean, I do, but it's just like the plot is so boring. Like, the only thing I like is the action and gore. I'm like, oh, that was cool. Wolverine just got chopped. Professor X is dead, but now he's back. But I'm like, what is the plot of this book?
What? The end. No.
Oh, no. Definitely not.
No.
Yeah, Glasses Run. Are you reading Glasses Run right now? The second only book I'm reading from DC that is good. Next to Dial H is Teen Titans.
I have to completely disagree.
Teen Titans is really good. But I enjoy it too. It's a good read. I think character development wise, it's there.
This is the most I've enjoyed Titans since Jeff Johns' run, personally.
I agree, honestly. I don't remember enjoying Teen Titans this much. It's really good. And it took me a while to get there because I was not on the train.
We kept on telling you. Yeah. And you were not Venomed. You're like, oh, watch, I'm going to get Venom. Nope.
It took a couple issues to get there, though. But once we got to Roundhouse's stuff and where he became a villain, that's where I was totally sold.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good book. Sorry, that was in my kitchen. I'm sure you're hearing bloop, 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 bloop. Beep, bloop. Yeah, I guess we're doing key issues?
Yeah, except Mike never marked it, so I don't know what to talk about.
Dude, that's the one thing I totally forgot. So we can just go down the list.
Okay. We'll just go down.
You know,
we got time.
We all talked about Batman a little bit, so I think we're all looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
So let's see. Amazing Spider-Man number 37.
After that last arc,
I
don't even know what
absolutely.
to expect.
I know. Let's see. I know you. Kat didn't mark Immortal Hulk. Oh
just
goodness.
Because I didn't know where this arc was going, because the last one was a one-shot, I believe. So I didn't know what it was going to be about. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I have no idea. Let's see. There's X-Force. Mike. Obviously, we just talked about that a little bit, so we're both looking forward to that. New Mutants Cat Cut. Young Justice number 12.
I'm looking forward to the Wonder Comics stuff that we discussed.
Yeah. So we talked about a lot of these already. Let's see. We'll skip that one because that was. Let's see. No.
I can't mention about Buffy yet. Never mind. I'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay. Venom number 22. I did not get a chance to read issue 21 yet, so I don't know if it was good or not. And Mike just left, so now I don't know.
Now you'll never know.
Okay, so we'll keep going. I'll come back to that one. Miles Morales, the end.
I saw a preview of that and I didn't know how to feel. I'm getting it.
I didn't know how to feel. I didn't see a preview, so tell me why you don't know how to feel.
The art looked weird to me.
Oh, they never.
I didn't.
That's the one thing they can't get right in that book anymore is the art.
Yeah, they really can't. It's I don't know how to feel about that. I think it's gonna be a gimmick, sadly, but also because we're not all of us. I don't think it's reading Miles Morales. I don't know how much it's gonna really affect us, but I want to get it because it's Miles.
Yeah, I still read Miles. I actually read it this week.
You still read it?
It's okay. You know, it's nothing to write home about, but it's there.
It's Miles. It's kind of what Miss Marvel is right now for me.
The one thing I will say about this week's issue is like he runs into Ganke in the hallway, and he's like, and Ganke's like, "Oh, dude, I haven't seen you for like 3 days." It's like, yeah, we don't feel like we've seen you in like 3 months, but okay, cool.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we're talking about Miles Morales, the end, Mike.
Okay.
Art doesn't look good.
I was gonna ask you, Mike, about Venom because I didn't get a chance to read 21 yet, and I don't know if it's any good. This arc. It's the Venom Island stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's. Can you guys hear me? Okay, because I feel like there's a delay.
We could hear you, but your mouth is not.
Yeah, there's a slight delay, but we can hear you.
Okay.
Maybe more than slight.
I'm gonna sign off again because it's for some reason.
Some reason, blue. I guess we'll never know about Venom. We do have a question from Sweet who says, "Are any of you guys going to read Steve Orlando's Wonder Woman? The first issue was great." No, I don't really like Steve Orlando's writing usually, and I can't get into Wonder Woman most of the time. So
same exact answer for me. Same exact. Nothing changed.
Although I guess, are you going to get issue 750 though?
I'll get 750 just for the milestone, but yeah, I just Steve Orlando's he did that Supergirl run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
We also had a question from Tevia. Are we done with Bendis? No, because I'm still reading some books from him. I'm reading Young Justice, and Naomi is amazing. So
yeah, that's it. We're just not reading the Superman stuff, and all his other like extraneous stuff. I'm not reading. But yeah, let's see. I'll skip that one. Star. I know you were talking about that earlier in our group chat.
I guess I can mention this because I haven't read it yet. But yeah, Star issue 1 on Newsarama got 2 out of 10. So it wasn't my review. But usually, obviously, a lot of times our thoughts line up because I write for Newsarama and I do reviews for them too. So I'm interested to see why it was 2 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit because I was actually kind of looking forward to it. I want to see what I like the character, the way she was written in Captain Marvel. I know you weren't crazy about her, but I kind of liked her. I want to see what they do, but yeah, that kind of scares me a little bit now.
Yeah, that's a low rating. So and like I bet I'll love it or something. The art looks good from the preview, so we'll see. I'm giving it a shot. I told you guys I'd give that first issue a shot. We'll see.
Yeah, and that's really it until unless Mike pops back up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could talk. We got nothing. I mean, maybe Amazing Mary Jane issue 4 if you want to discuss it.
I'm trying to remember if I actually read issue 3.
Issue 3. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, I don't either.
Oh, Mike's back.
There's good. Mike saved us from having to talk about it.
What happened?
He saved us from talking about the Amazing Mary Jane because none of us remembered what happened in the last issue.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay. Cool.
I honestly remember that it was really boring, and I was just I actually thought about not reading the rest of it But then when I was like, it's Spider-Man though. Like I have to read it, you know.
I feel you kind of have to because she's gonna pop up back and tell everything that happened. Yeah, in her. I mean, for me, like I love Mary Jane, so I'm not gonna drop it, but it's not really good.
It's like I said from issue 1. It's not. I don't feel like it's the story I wanted from that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a letdown for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
More about movie making than about Mary Jane, which is like, as someone who does stuff for television, like I thought that was cool, like hearing the lingo and like obviously seeing someone write a book about movie making who obviously has done it. But other than that, like as a superhero book, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mester Cronus just messaged, said Sonic the Hedgehog 24 was my number 3. So I just
cool.
Shout that out real quick.
If Michael was here, we would discuss it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about Star, Mike, and we talked about Miles Morales the End.
So Star, I want. Cat kind of scared me with the little previews he got, but I am looking forward to it because I like the character in Captain Marvel, and so I'm definitely going to give it a try. And then what was the other one?
Miles Morales the End.
Oh, I am getting that. Again, this is falling into these Marvel traps where it's just like, oh, it's these, you know, you kind of want to find out what's the end, but it's just like they're just one and done stories, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like at the same time, like I kind of want to see what happens at the end of Miles Morales's like career. So it's like, all right, I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
they're all dead.
They're dead. It's over.
And then Venom.
Venom. Oh, the island one that you were talking about, right?
Right.
So the first one was cool. It was a good issue. It has Eddie basically dealing with the Carnage symbiote.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil too much of it, but since he absorbed all those symbiotes from Absolute Carnage, I'm just gonna say that the Carnage symbiote is attached to him as well.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I think I might have read part of it or I skimmed it or something because I remember that. And I remember somebody in the comments said he was offered to join the Avengers, and I remember that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a good book. It really is.
Okay.
And Bagley's doing the artwork on it right now.
Awesome. So are there any other books you're looking forward to tomorrow? I know there was a 20XX. I know you liked the first issue.
Yeah, 20XX was a really good book. That's the book done by Image Comics. It's a black and white story. Like I said, it's about people like that have this virus, and it's kind of like a mutant gene. It's like you eventually get it, and then you either get it and die, or you get it and become like you have these mutant abilities. And we're still learning about the character who just received her abilities on what she could do. So this seems like a very interesting story, and yeah, I can't wait for the next issue.
Cool. All right. I guess that's it.
Sweet.
Yeah,
so done.
We tried filling this up, guys. There was nothing that came out. There was no news, so we did it. We did an hour and a half show somehow. So thanks for joining us. Hopefully next week we'll have everybody, but understand if we can't have everybody next week. Chris and Michael will make it when they can. So hopefully you enjoyed. And next week we do have more books, so don't worry.
We'll be a little bit more in rhythm too, I feel.
Oh yeah, for sure. We missed a couple weeks. And like we said, I think tomorrow we'll have our topic time for the New Mutants trailer. So if you wanted our thoughts on that, definitely go check it out. Yeah. So thanks, guys. This is the Waving Part. And also, if you want to subscribe, go subscribe. Ring the bell if you can. If you want notifications about our shows, we got all that social media. And also like this video because that helps us get out there. So be sure to like. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.